He's here to help entrepreneurs create amazing lives.
And on a grand scale.
What's up, everybody? This is Russell. Welcome back to Hang Out with Russell for a little while every morning. I hope you guys are having a good time. I got pumped up watching the intro videos and everything. So I was eating my lunch, I'm watching them, and I got excited. I just want to jump on like a minute early with you guys because, as you know, Russell rhymes with funnel according to JP Sears. So there you go. Anyway, what's up, everybody? How you guys doing this Monday? Let me know where you're calling in from around the world. We got a lot of you guys here, which is awesome. And today's going to be, I'm not going to show you guys any video clips today. Today, I'm going hardcore Russell teaching, Russell trading, because I'm excited and I'm fired up, and I want to give you guys some magic. You guys cool with that? You guys cool if I over deliver and just pour into you for the next like 30 minutes or so? If you are, let me know. Because today we're trying to plan, like, what's the game plan? What should we talk about? We could do this, we could do this, we could do this. And I was like, I know what I want to talk about. I know exactly what I want to talk about because this is the thing I'm focusing on, the thing I'm geeking out about. And if I'm geeking out about it, you should be geeking out about it as well. So that's kind of the game plan if you guys are cool with that. Does that sound good? So the title, again, everything we know is hook, story, offer, hook, story, offer. So the hook we threw out there, the title of this presentation, the text message went out, all the stuff says the number one secret that almost everyone missed on how we scale ClickFunnels from 0 to a cajillion, but infinity billion. Just kidding, we're not there yet, but we're working on it. But we've grown it to a huge company. We've been in this business now for 10 years, and we grew and scaled. We've let to take on a penny of VC outside funding, and the question is always like, how did you do that? How did you do that? And so there's a lot of things, right? I wrote books. I've done webinars, do live events, do everything. But there's one thing that's like the key. I'm curious, how many of you guys think you know what it is? If you know what it is, drop down. Like, what do you think the key is? Like, what was the secret? If I look it down, like there's a lot of things we did, but there's one that was like the most important thing. I'm curious. Like, drop in the comments what you guys think. Someone says Tussle Brunson. Oh yeah, Tussle's here. Let's go. I've heard people in the past say, oh, it's a two comma couple word. Like, yes, that was a big deal. Continuity, yes, that was a big deal. Those are both good. The heart to serve, yes, that's a big deal. Webinars is a big deal. Consistent work, webinars. Linchpin is the key. Membership, linchpin. We got my linchpinners out there that know what I'm talking about. Traffic. These are all good. But so far, none of them are completely correct. They're all partially correct, but not completely correct. There's one thing. Conviction is big, yes. Josh just said, at least Josh was honest. I honestly don't know. Okay, good. Who else? Integration marketing, customers. These are all fantastic. So, okay, you guys are all on the right thing. MIFKI, God, positioning ClickFunnels against websites. The MIFKI. Okay, all these things are good. Hook, story, offer. Yes, my people, you're speaking my language. This is the best thing ever. So all these things are good. But I'm gonna tell you guys what was like the thing. And I'm telling you guys this because the last 2 weeks hanging out with you guys have been a lot of fun for me because I'm like rethinking through these things, like things I haven't thought about for a decade. It was 10 years ago we launched ClickFunnels, right? I started going the process, started building, growing, scaling, launching. So like by going back in these lives, I'm gonna show you guys videos from back in 2017 when I was talking about expert secrets, talking about future-based costs, talking about your new opportunity, talking about things like going on and on. So like I've been going deep into it, and then I'm flying out on Wednesday. I'm flying to Dan Kennedy's Super Conference. So this week's gonna have a couple weird schedule on me going live because I'll be traveling and flying and in weird hotel rooms and stuff. But I'm trying to keep. Someone said nude squirrels. Yes, nude squirrels. What's the secret? You guessed it. No. Anyway, I'm gonna try to keep things as much live and much to schedule as possible. But it might be a little weird this week just because of that. But as I'm working on a presentation, I'm actually doing 4 presentations at Kennedy's Super Conference this week, which I'm so excited for. And anyway, I just kind of started rethinking through all these things. It's been top of my mind. It's been really, really fun. And I actually messaged Todd the other day. I'm like, dude, I'm an idiot. I was like, I know the answer. I know the answer to this stuff, and I totally forgotten about it. And some of you guys have heard me tell this story before, but I'm telling you this for a couple reasons. Number one is because this was the biggest thing. This was the number one thing. It was the secret to everything. And I did it for a year. And then I did it less often the next year and less often next year, to the point now where I never do it. And it's funny because I totally kind of forgotten about it. When I wrote the Expert Secrets book, it was top of mind. It's always talking with our community, with our tribe, with all of our people, talking about it. Everyone was bought into it, and I'd forgotten about it. And I look at right now, I'm telling you this because number one, I want to point out to you. But number two is I'm going to be committing to you guys today that I'm going to do this exact same thing. It's been a while. So this is how important it is. I'm going to be using it to grow and scale ClickFunnels 2.0, new ClickFunnels to the next levels, because I totally forgot about it. So this is what it is. You guys ready? Drum roll, please. Good. Published, not publishing. Dream 100, no. These are all good. These are all good. Okay. This is what the key was. The key was I did a webinar every single week, consistently, week after week after week, week after week after week. And some of you guys have heard me talk about this before, but I want to re-bring it to the top. I talk about it in the Expert Secrets book as like the key to everything. It's the fuel that drives and builds the business. So let me go back in time. So ClickFunnels, excuse me. When we launched ClickFunnels, so you guys have heard the story before. We launched with a funnel, it didn't work. Then another funnel didn't work. 3, 4, 5 different funnels didn't work. And I was about to throw it. I'm like, no one's buying this thing. This isn't working. I give up. And then I remember one of my friends called me. He's like, hey, I have an event and I need you to speak at it. I was like, okay, what do you want me to speak on? He's like, I want you to speak about ClickFunnels and sell it. I was like, nobody's buying it. Like, no one understands the value of a funnel. Like, I couldn't get people to understand why they needed this thing. Like, I was so passionate about it, but nobody cared. So it makes me laugh now. People are like, Russell, you picked such a good market called funnels. I was like, it was not that good of a market when I got started. Nobody cared. I had to make the market care about this topic, right? And so, anyway, I'm gonna go speak at this event. And I remember I was like, no one wants to buy this thing. He's like, it doesn't matter. He's like, you have to figure out $1,000 version of this to sell at the event. And I was like, they're not paying for the free trial, let alone give me $1,000. He's like, dude, you know how to speak from stage, create a presentation. My people are already waiting for you. Your face is on the sales letters. I'm like, ah. And so I remember it was an event. They were streaming it virtually. So I remember watching, I was at home. So I was in Boise still, watching day number 1 of the event. I'm watching it from my home as I'm working on this presentation. And I literally pulled out my perfect webinar script. I'm building the webinar, putting it all together. Day 2, I'm watching work my webinar. That afternoon, I jumped in a plane. I flew down there to San Diego. I get to San Diego next day, and I'm on stage. So I get on stage, and I do my webinar presentation, and some of you guys have seen how many of you guys have seen the Funnel Hacks presentation, by the way? I did the Funnel Hacks presentation, and boom. And I sold a $1,000 version of ClickFunnels, and it was crazy. People were jumping over the tables, people throwing credit cards in the back. It was the first time I'd ever had like a legit huge table rush, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. I don't remember the exact numbers. I can't remember. I think we closed like close to half of the room ended up buying ClickFunnels that very first time. And I remember that night, like we're at dinner having fun, and Todd and Dylan, my 2 co-founders initially, were talking about stuff, and we're having a good time. I said, "You guys realize what's happened?" They're like, "Yeah, we made some money finally. We've been working on this project for 2 years, and it didn't make anybody. Now we made some money." I'm like, no. Like, I'm like, now that I know the message, now I know how to like we can blow this up. Like, this is the beginning of the rest of our lives. And I remember the next morning I was leaving. I was leaving the lobby of the hotel, and I was walking out, and I met this lady in the hallway, and she's like, "Hey, your presentation was awesome yesterday. I wished that I could have bought it, but I'm a coach and I don't have a supplement, so I couldn't buy ClickFunnels." I was like, "What?" She's like, "Well, yeah, all the case studies you showed were supplement funnels. I don't have a supplement company. I'm a coach, so it won't work for me." I was like, "No, like I'm a coach too. I have a book. I have a webinar. Like it works for coaches too." She's like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Yes." And she starts freaking out. She's like, "Don't move." And she runs into the event room, and she grabs 2 of her friends. All 3 run out with order forms. She's like, "We had no idea that coaches could actually, this would work for coaches." And they gave me the 3 order forms. I have these 3 order forms as I'm leaving, and I get in the plane. I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, what did I make? Like my presentation converted great, but obviously I didn't illustrate it well enough that people could be like, "Oh, this is exactly what it is," right? Like there's something that missed there. And so I remember on the flight home tweaking my slides and putting in some slides like, "Hey, this works for a coach, or it works if you're this or this or this," and showed examples of funnels I'd used in the past, right? So I'm flying home, and then afterwards I'm at the airport, and I'm texting everyone, like, "Hey, I got a presentation. It's hot. Who wants to promote it? Who wants to promote it?" I started lining up people to start promoting the webinar, right? And so then I get back home, and the next day we're running, like we're building a funnel webinar registration page. We put it out there. This is an original ClickFunnels. This is like, again, 3-4 months into ClickFunnels. So it's one of the first webinar registration pages ever created. I have 3 or 4 versions of it. We built one and we cloned it. So I had 3 versions of it. One for me to promote to my list, and then 2 of my friends who said they would promote as well. So I had 3 people promote it, and we lined up. So I had 2 webinars on the first day, and webinar the second day, and then I had the third. Anyway, I was just lining them up. I was doing 2 or 3 webinars a day. It was crazy. And so I did the very first webinar. I can't remember how many people were on it, but it was like 400, 500 people or something were on the webinar. I get on there, I do the presentation, and it crushes. It does really well, right? And I don't remember the exact dollar amount. This has been a decade, but it was something like $30,000, $40,000 in sales. I was like, yeah, this is amazing. Now, the next webinar was the same day, but it was like 4 hours later. So 4 hours later, I'm about to go get on this webinar, but before I do, I was like, I'm remembering what happened in the hotel lobby. And so I think Todd or some of my team, they exported all the questions that people had asked during the webinar, and I went through, I started reading them, and I was like, oh my gosh. Everyone's getting stuck at minute 22. They're all asking the same question. I just ignore it. I don't even bring up the question. So I went and I added a slide in there to resolve that concern. And then a little while later, I noticed on slide 72, everyone's getting stuck there. So I tweaked that slide. And then during the stack and the close, people are asking questions. They're getting confused. They can't figure this out and this out. So we're tweaking it. And then I jump on next webinar. Boom. 4 hours later, same amount of people on the webinar. And this time, instead of making $30,000 or $40,000 in sales, I remember it was like $80,000 or $90,000. In fact, we might even broke We might have broke 6 figures. I can't remember. But I was like, oh my gosh, same people, way more money. What did I do? I made some tweaks. And I was like, we have another webinar tomorrow. I'm like, download the questions again. So we download all the questions. Like, where are people still getting stuck? They're like, oh, no one's getting stuck here and here, but they're asking this question. And a lot of people are asking for work for them here and there. So like, we're finding where they're asking the questions. We're tweaking the slides, adding a slide, deleting a slide, making less confusing. The offer's confusing. We're tweaking this, tweaking that. Like, we're doing that kind of thing. Right next day to the webinar, crushes it. And then do the next one. And every single time for the next year, every time we do a webinar, export all the questions, tweak the presentation, launch it again. Export the questions, tweak it, launch it, and boom, boom, and just kept doing that over and over and over again, okay? I did it so many times. I wonder if I can show you guys this, actually. I got this testimonial from one of my buddies that it made me smile and laugh. It used to be on the sales page here. Yes, it's still here. Okay. I'm not showing you this to sell you anything. I just want to show you the actual testimonial. Let's see if you guys can see this. Boom. Okay, I'm gonna zoom in like crazy so you can see this testimonial. It's my buddy Joe Lavery. He posts this. He said, "Russell, I'm in awe at how good you are at webinar pitching. Watching right now, every trick in the book being used like a pro. Every slide, every section, every word crafted intentionally. The sequence, the stack, the FAQs, the video testimonials, the offer, almost every objection planned for and obliterated. The countdown timer, overwhelmingly awesome execution. I don't think I've seen a better presentation, bro. Hashtag on top of your game. Hashtag good guys get much richer. Hashtag much respect." Right? And so that's what Joe said, and it made me laugh because I was like, if he only knew the reason why, every slide, every section, every word was crafted intentionally, like while every objection was obliterated before it even came up, is because I had seen those 100 times. I wasn't just guessing. I wasn't hoping that my presentation would work. How many of you guys show up on your webinar and you're like, hey, what's up, everybody? So today we're going to talk about blah, and you're just hoping, right? I remember when I was learning from Dan Kennedy, my original mentor, one thing he told me that was so powerful. He said that when he's like, you can have presentations where you're teaching and having fun and like being more freestyle. I was like, but when you are selling, you follow a script to a T. He's like, if you watch my sales presentation, the original magnetic marketing, he's like, if you watch it, you'll notice that if you watch 10 versions of it, I laugh at the exact same time. I grab my drink of water at the same time. He's like, everything I do is flawed. I don't mess with it, right? I may tweak and test little things, but he's like, but the script does not change, okay? It's funny because last year I had a chance to be in Salt Lake in front of 2,000 or 3,000 people in an event. And I was hanging out with Ryan Panetta. I actually just flew in and did a podcast interview with him last week, which was really fun to get to know him personally. But he was at the original TEDx where we did he set the world record and everything. And he bought there as like his first intro into this whole world, right? And fast forward, it's like 5 or 6 years later, and we're both speaking this event. And he's like, "What are you talking about tomorrow, Russell?" I'm like, "Same thing I was talking about, same presentation that you watch." He's like, "You're doing the same presentation?" I'm like, "Yeah, it works. Why would I mess with it, right? I'm gonna make it better and better and better." Now, this is a couple of things I want to jump into. Because someone said the voice and the video are in sync. Well, I'm doing my best. It's interesting. Like this is a piece that some of you guys are going to get wrong. Okay. So the goal is to do webinar every single week for as long as you can, for at least a year. Right. And honestly, maybe more than once a week. Again, I was doing it 2, 3, 4 times a week, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day when we were growing ClickFunnels. Like that was the initial momentum and inertia we needed to get this off the ground. Right. And I remember at first it was like confusing to me because I was like, well, if I do the same webinar on my list every single week, they're going to get bored of it. They're going to like stop showing up, right? And I said, yeah, that's the secret. Like to do a webinar every single week, you can't keep doing it to your existing list. If you do it to your existing list every time, yeah, it burns them out. So by doing a brand new webinar every single week, it forces you to get new traffic, new eyeballs, new people, new blood, new fuel into your business. Does that make sense? Like it is the key. And so it forces you to do that, right? And so what happens is you create the webinar, put it out there, you start buying ads, you drive as much traffic as you can, you get joint venture partners, everyone's promoting this thing like crazy. You do the webinar live. In fact, if you go, here, let me walk you through the model. If you've got your Expert Secrets book in front of you, if you go to page 308, boom, here's the thing, right? So we start a webinar. We create a brand new funnel. So I just clone the old funnel and we make a brand new one. If you look at our ClickFunnels account, we have a date for every single webinar. So you can kind of see the whole history of them all, right? So we create it, boom, the Monday we promote it, Tuesday we promote it, Wednesday we promote it, Thursday morning we promote it, and then Thursday, it's blurry, here we go. Thursday, boom, we do the live event, okay? And then whatever you sell during the live event, which is good, then you should make more, you should double your sales through the replay segment. So you have replay on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday of urgency and scarcity, you close it down and it ends. Everyone who registered in that window, it ends. And then you start back over again on Monday, you create a new funnel, right? And these people who sign up, they don't see this funnel, right? So it literally ends for them. The traffic ends, it's over, and then you start buying ads again, and you push more people Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday morning, boom, 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 and like you just like rinse and repeat that process over and over and over and over again. Like that was the secret. That's how you do it over and over and over again. Okay. And now a couple things with your existing list. What we would do is we would do it every single week for a month, and then once a month we would do a webinar to our existing list. So once a quarter we do it to our existing list, and then what happens is like sometimes people would fall away or they forgot or they weren't ready at the time. But like the once a quarter webinar to our existing list would crush. Okay, so this is once a quarter to your existing list, once a week to new traffic, and it's forcing you to figure out how to get new traffic, new leads, new eyeballs coming into your world. Does that make sense? Like that's really the big secret that most people are missing. Okay, and someone's saying is automate or live. This is live. Okay, because you have to learn how to master your script over and over and over again. Yes, we're buying new traffic for every single webinar. Yes. Okay. I had a friend. Anyway, her name's Mary Ellen Tribby. Some of you guys have met Mary Ellen. She's amazing. But she'd gone to 2 different companies and taken these companies from like $3 million in sales to $80 million in like a year and things like that. And I remember I asked her one time, like, how do you do that? And she's like, Russell, it's not that hard. All you internet marketers, you guys just think you're so smart. No, she was pretty nice about it. She's like, you guys are so smart. She's like, you guys do the equivalent of creating a Broadway play, right? Like you hire the best screenwriters in the whole world, the best actors, and you produce it and you practice it and you get it amazing. And then what you do is because you live in Boise, Idaho, you'll do the play in Boise, Idaho. You'll market it, get everyone to show up. Opening night, curtains come up, you perform, it goes crazy, it closes down, people clap. It's like a huge sensation, and then it ends. And the next morning you wake up and you start writing a new play. She's like, that's what you guys do. You create funnel after funnel after funnel. She's like, what I do, she's like, I take that funnel, I take that play that worked already in Boise, Idaho, and I take it on the road. Okay, that was the whole premise of what I did here with ClickFunnels, right? I had the webinar, it worked. It worked at my friend's event, it worked at my own list. Now instead of me going right another webinar, I take it on the road. I do it to every other person's email list I can convince to promote it. I start buying ads every single week. I do it over and over and over and over again. And that is what you need to get your business into the stratosphere. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, a couple other things that I think is really important to understand. Bill said, okay, good question, Bill. Bill said, how is a countdown timer ethical if you restart the offer every week? Isn't it false urgency? No. Someone's coming into that work. They are finding some random ad, they click on it, they create an account, right? They sign up for the webinar, and that webinar, the beginning and the end, it ends for that cohort of people, right? And then we start a new cohort. Those people don't know where that funnel is at. They don't have access to it unless they go and they refine the ad. But after someone's gone through, we block them so they don't see the ad again, right? And so, no, it's not unethical because it's a different cohort. For everyone who's in that cohort, yes, right? That's how we do it. Great question. Okay, now I want to stress a couple things. Number one is I've been telling people to do this for years. The amount of people who have actually done this besides me, everyone I know who did this besides me ended up with a business that's done multiple 8 figures or beyond. But very few people have done it, right? I told you guys before, like start publishing every single day. Yes, that's part of it, publishing, but eventually where's the publishing leading towards? You publishing every single day should be leading towards an event, a conversion event where you're getting somebody to actually buy something from you, right? Like that's the big secret. Now, how do you guys know Mr. Garrett J. White? I posted this on my podcast last week. And so I want to, I'm going to play it here just so you guys can hear this. But I've been telling Garrett for a decade, not quite a decade, 7 years probably, 6-7 years, to like, hey Garrett, this is how we build ClickFunnels. Follow the model, follow the model, follow the model. And I kept telling him to do this, right? And he hadn't done it apparently. And he sent me this message last week talking about this model specifically we're talking about. So I'm going to play this little clip. It's like 20 seconds or so from Garrett. This is a private message he sent me when he actually finally did, hashtag do what Russell says. When he finally did what Russell said, and this is really cool. So check out what Garrett said. Hopefully you guys can hear this.
Insert Garrett audio now.
Oh man, I want to send you an audio and tell you thank you. And I'm having one of those student moments. Here's a student moment. You ready? It's a moment when you have your coach, aka mentor or leader, telling you to do something for years, and of course you don't do it. You're like, I'm not going to do it. I don't need to fucking do it. Blah blah blah. I've heard you talk about doing a paid traffic perfect webinar every week for a year. You did it 60 to 70 times, perfected the pitch, and off of that webinar, that pitch, you built the $100 million empire, which is ClickFunnels. I am 17 paid webinars in live in 2024 with our current offer, and we are liquidating and profitable and making money. And I'm sitting here having this moment. I'm getting prepped for another one tomorrow, and I'm watching your webinar content again. And I'm just sitting here going, dude, what kind of idiot waits their phone? And yet my students do the exact same thing. So your frames work. They're incredible. And I don't see how anyone could think about automating a webinar without doing this at least 30 to 40 to 50 times. And I know my content in and out. Every week we're like twisting, adjusting, and tweaking the frames. It's no wonder your presentations are so solid. And what it's doing for me is it's allowing me to sell under, again, a structure that has deep containers for all of my energy. Whereas up to this point, I just sell on energy, dude. I just sell certainty. I deliver by the bucketfuls. So on this glorious Monday, wherever you are, it might be around the world, my friend, thank you for who you are and thank you for what you do. And hope you're having a fantastic day.
Okay.
Okay, so you guys hear that? Awesome, right? He said, this is Garrett, who's been doing this for a decade, who knows his content. I don't know how anyone could do it, could automate a webinar that do 30 or 40 or 50 times prior. Like, that's the big aha, you guys. That's the big secret. That's how ClickFunnels became who we did. So anyway, I want to share that with you guys today because I'm thinking about that myself. Like, I am going back. I talk to my team, everyone. I'm recommitting to this. And so for me, I am starting, and I'm still trying to remember the details. I'm traveling lots. I'm trying to figure out how to make it all work, but it's going to be amazing. I've been watching Garrett. Garrett does his. He does it. If you register for his, you watch it. He does not give you a replay. Like, if you're on, you're on. If you're not, he does not give you a replay, and it's done. And so that's another way you can do it. You can definitely not do the replay sequence like I do. I'm not sure Garrett's numbers, but I'm sure he's getting more people to show up live because he does not give them a replay. It's like, if you miss it, you missed it, and that's it, and you're out. So, which is kind of cool. I have not done that yet, but very interesting as well. So, okay, so that's what I want to share with you guys right now. What I'm committing to on my side, I'm going to be doing a live webinar every single week that I'm able to moving forward. I'm restructuring. I'm making a new webinar that I'm really excited for. I'll invite you guys to the second it's done, so you can come check out and hang out. But I'm creating that webinar right now. And the second thing I want to do is I haven't committed to this part yet, but I want to have a live webinar every single week. And then that way, this is something fascinating, especially if those of you who have teams and stuff. when you're doing a live webinar every single week, the fascinating thing is like, oh, is this automated? Like everyone forgets about it. I don't even think it's like, oh, there's something happening over here, right? When you have a live webinar every week, like everyone's thinking about like the ads team, the slick customer support team, like there's energy in the office. Like everyone's like, it just changes everything when that's the focus point, right? There's a focal point that's always happening where there's selling actually happening every single week. Like the companies are about selling. Sometimes we get so much like companies are about management and about this. And like, no. Like your company's about selling. Like you got to get good at marketing and selling, right? Like that's the whole point. So it's like, you got to be good at doing this. And so anyway, that's the goal is I have to do live every single week. And then once, I'm not sure I'm gonna do once a quarter or once a month yet. I haven't decided yet, but once a quarter, once a month, I'm gonna do a 3-day virtual event that pushes people into more of our high ticket. And so basically all of these weekly events would all push into the bigger one, and the bigger one would be where we send people up to the highest level. So, anyway, that's kind of the game plan of what I'm doing on my side. So because I'm actively committing to this myself right now, I wanted to actively commit you guys to this as well. Okay. So this is what I want to challenge you guys to. Okay. We already talked about like you should be going live every week, right? Building up your audience, getting connection, all those kind of things, right? And I'm going live here on Facebook. I'm also posting YouTube videos every week. I'm doing a podcast every single week. We're about to up our podcast to 2 a week, about to up our YouTube to 2 a week. So like I'm increasing my volume. It's interesting. I talked to, Alex Ramosi about how he's blown up so much, and he's like the secret. Here's one secret. Lean in. The secret: volume, more volume. He's like, do more, post more, be more often. I went and hung out with Andy Elliott the other day. Andy Elliott posts 2 YouTube videos a day and 6 Instagram or 6 shorts a day, every single day, consistently. Boom, boom, boom. Like so, I'm trying to increase my volume because I want to get more noise out there. So you're gonna see me increasing my volume. I'll be louder and louder, more stuff happening, all driving to one core spot, which is my weekly webinar. Boom. And that'll happen once a week, and then it'll keep happening, and then from there, again, it's a funnel, right? Here's Russell out in the world creating volume, all pushed into one webinar. It happens every single week. Those who sign up for the webinar, they get invited to the 3-day event. It happens once a quarter-ish, and then the 3-day event will push to world domination for that person, and let's keep going through like that. So that's what I'm going to do, you guys, but it's me coming back to just hyper-aggressive posting and going live, posting every single platform, being Dean calls it omnipresent. Everywhere I'm going to go, right? You're going to see me. It's going to be annoying to you. But then from there, it's going to be like, come hang out on the webinar. Come check out the webinar. Come see the webinar. You're like, okay, I'm on fire. I'm in, Russell. Sign me up. I'm part of the movement. And then we'll move everyone from there. So that's the game plan. Again, I literally did that for the first year of ClickFunnels. I think we did, I can't remember the number, 70 or 80 live webinars I did. before I had one that I started evergreening. And then I transitioned to, instead of me spending 3 days a week doing webinars, then I transitioned to I was doing it like once or twice a month live. And then we were the off weeks I was doing the evergreen one, but I still kept rotating through. I want to keep sharp, I want to keep like up to date so I could keep giving that presentation. And then by year 3 and stuff, then we started automating it. And I think that's one of my mistakes. Like if I could go back in time, I would have continued that cadence at least once a month. But because of that, I'm punishing myself in a great way. I'm saying, okay, Russell, you got to go back to the foundations, to the basics, back to every single week. So publishing every single day. And for me, multiple platforms. You pick one platform, do it once a week, live event, live webinar, and then we're selling and we're having fun and it's going to be awesome. So that's happening my side of the world, you guys. That's what I'm doing. So I'm committed to it. So I want to commit you guys to it. How many of you guys will commit to, first off, creating a presentation worth doing this for? Okay, you got to go craft a presentation. That's number one. And number two is like, as soon as you get that thing down, like, okay, I'm gonna commit to this once a week. I'm gonna go out there and do this presentation. Like that's the key, you guys. That's the big secret. That's the big aha. Okay, and I know at first it's tough because it's like, how do I get an audience? How do I get an audience? Well, like when you have webinar that converts, it's not hard to get traffic, right? Garrett said he's got 17 weeks in profitable every single week, right? Well, he means profitable means like he spent $1,000 ads the first time and he made $2,000, right? So the next week he put $2,000 into ads and he made $5,000. Next week he put $5,000 ads and made $15,000. Like, you don't have to go and like spend $100,000 ads week number 1, right? No, it's just about like putting in what you're able to, do the first presentation or do it to your own list and make some money from there. Like, and then reinvesting that money back into ads for next week. Reinvesting over time it grows. And also, by the way, those who follow the linchpin model, which hopefully you're keeping up all my stuff. I know we're jumping to the deep end of the pool over here. By doing that, if you have continuity on the thank you page, that's how everything grows on top of it. So anyway, all right. Laura said, I'm working on my presentation. Tomorrow's the first day I'll be doing it. Yeah, Laura, let's go. Everyone celebrate for Laura. Yeah, let's go. I love it. Donnie said, I go live once a week and I'm down to commit to upping it to once a week and once for a weekly presentation. Awesome. Okay. All right, you guys. Well, I'm doing it. I'm going to be setting an example. I tell everyone all the time, my biggest job here at ClickFunnels is to be your head cheerleader. So I'm cheerleading you on, but also to be an example. I'm doing the same thing. I don't just talk about this. I practice what I preach. And so I'm going all in. So you'll start seeing me. Again, we have an event this week. We got a Thinking Orbits Challenge next week. And then after that, well, live webinars are hitting out and we're going to be going. So that's kind of the game plan. So it's going to be fun. Really quick for tomorrow, just so you guys know, tomorrow will be a little different. Steve Larson and I are doing, I think like a 3-hour live tomorrow. And so my goal is I'm going to try to figure out how to stream it to you guys as well. Hopefully that'll work. If not, if you go to dramaticdemonstrations.com, you can go register for it, and that way you don't miss it. If I can pull the page real quick here. I think it's dramatic. Yeah, it checks out. I'll pull the page. Boom. So dramaticdemonstrations.com. If you can register here, at 3 p.m. Mountain Time, we'll be going live. And I think it's like, we're going to be showing 2 of our Funnel Hacking Live presentations. Me and him are on stage. So if you love Funnel Hacking Live and you got your tickets already and you want to make sure you don't miss anything cool, the 2 dramatic demonstration presentations that we did, we'll be showing those tomorrow for free. Again, it's 100% free. Come here, register. We'll watch those for free. You'll understand and master dramatic demonstrations, which is what we're talking about doing every single week anyway. So go and watch this. Again, this is completely free, a gift from me and Steve. You'll watch 2 FHL presentations. It'll be a couple hours long, but if you want to go watch something cool, dramaticdemonstrations.com. Also, I'm going to try to stream this to you guys. I'm not sure if that'll work or not. You never quite know till you're in it, but that's kind of the game plan. We'll try to do that. And that's about it, you guys. So with that said, I appreciate you all. Thank you for hanging out today. I hope you had learned some good things. Again, I just wanted to hang out today. No videos, just me giving you some fire, preaching from the pulpit of Russell here in my office because this stuff is important. I'm yelling at you so I hear it myself so I can recommit and double down, and hopefully you'll recommit as well and join me on the process. I'm going to try to be the perfect example for you guys. I appreciate you all. Thanks for hanging out. And for all my funnel hackers out there, we'll see you guys all tomorrow on the Dramatic Demonstrations Masterclass. It's going to be so much fun. And that's it, you guys. We'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.